Morning, afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this video. Hope everyone is well. I'm going to add a little nature sounds outside, so if you hear little crickets, it's just so you have a little nature in the background. So here we go. I want to give an update to the last video I put out related to the homestead tax credit for the people who reside in the state of Maryland and Prince George's County. And so I got an email from Mel Franklin's office, and he is the at-large representative, and I just wanted to read it for you. So if you have a second, the summary, here's the bottom line up front. The bottom line up front is the collective group of represented people spoke their opinion, and it seems like it was heard by the council, and the legislation to raise or the capability of raising property assessment tax, as well as offering the homestead tax credit on the next ballot. So I'm going to read it. That's the summary. If you're done with this, thanks for listening. Otherwise, I'm going to give you all the details I can as quickly and as clearly as I can do it. Here's what it says in the email that I received. A statement on the CB-48-2020 Homestead Tax Credit Charter Amendment. Dear friends and neighbors, after weeks of vigorous dialogue and listening to you, my constituents, I have decided that I will not vote for CB-48-2020, the charter amendment to amend the homestead property tax cap. This Tuesday, I have truly appreciated the phone calls, emails, social media messages, and face-to-face conversations over the past few weeks about this issue for me. This was never about voting for a tax increase, but instead to spark a conversation about the history of systemic racism in our county that extends far beyond this issue. I especially want to thank those of you who have reminded me about the need to create more trust between our local government and our residents. I have taken those comments to heart and will be pursuing policies in the very near future that create more transparency and accountability about how your local public officials spend your hard-earned tax dollars. You should be able to see on a customer-friendly website exactly how your dollars are being spent. This should be an independent inspector general that monitors and creates accountability about public spending. We should endeavor to hold more of our legislative public hearings in the evenings at times when working residents can participate, and much, much more. Thank you for the discussion, and as always, it is my honor to work for you, we the people of Prince George's County. God bless. And I want to cover the new local owned business law that came behind it. So this came right behind it, and it's almost as if it's a response to the homestead tax credit, although it's not. That was CB-48, and this is CB-2. So on Tuesday, Prince George's County Council unanimously approved CB-2-2020, the Local Purchasing Opportunities Act of 2020, which establishes a new preference for businesses owned by county residents or county resident-owned businesses in all competitive public contracting. The new law will give county resident-owned businesses a 5% bid bonus when competing for the hundreds of millions in annual county contracting. The Prince George's County is home to thousands of minority-owned businesses, especially African-American-owned businesses. Today, County Council member at large Mel Franklin, the bill's leading sponsor, released the following statement. The passage of the Local Purchasing Opportunities Act will lead to the investment of millions in public contracting dollars in small and minority businesses owned by Prince George's County residents, growing our businesses' tax base and creating generational wealth for our own residents in light of public recent disparity study showing that we spent only 14% of our public contracting with African American owned businesses. During the past several years, this new law could be a game changer for increasing economic opportunities in our diverse communities. This legislation is only the first of many steps we should take to address the racial and economic inequities in our county and our society. Prince George's County residents are 64% African American and 19% Latino. The Local Purchasing Opportunities Act also enables county purchasing officers to reserve contracting opportunities solely for bidding by small and minority-owned businesses based in Prince George's County. Okay, so that's the end of that. And then I have the link to it. I read the actual 7-page county-based documentation. Now, this was a legislation, the local owned business legislation was generated and created in 2016. The problem was it still hasn't been executed, but it was written and has been talked about for years. I know because I used to go to the meetings when they talked about how we're going to implement this legally, that large businesses that win big contracts, we're going to have to share some of the wealth that they generate out of our county tax dollars with the county-based businesses. I'm glad that this is getting closer to execution, although it hasn't been signed yet by Also Brooks, but we're getting closer to giving some of the money back to our residents that have businesses in the county. Now, this is why I bring that up, is because I've been to lots of meetings, and there are lots of Delaware-based businesses that come into our county and they'll set up a office for a year, and then they'll be considered county-based businesses. I'm not opposed to that. At least they're getting one place of rent and doing it for a year. That helps some place get rent from an out-of-state based business. But there are a lot of county-based businesses that are still not getting opportunities, and the opportunities are just going to larger businesses. So we have to figure out our own way to unite and work together to supplant those big businesses. But at least some of this, if they execute it into law, will give 5% of a bonus chance to our local-based businesses. So thought that was good. Now, my opinion on the Homestead tax charter credit. It looks like it's not tabled completely, but the at-large representative, Mel, will not be supporting it. We still probably have a long way to go to get everybody aware and hip to what this is about. The summary is they're going to say, do you want more of a tax credit? But at the same time, they're going to get the capability to change your tax assessment up or down. It could go down, but more likely might go up from 2% changes every year, every 3 years, to potentially 10% changes every year. So that could be that your property tax could go up to 10% every 3 years versus up 2% every 3 years. So that's big, and you need to pay attention to that one. Looks like it still might come forward, but at least the at-large representative might not be voting for it. So hopefully I'm helping spread the word of informing people to make a decision, and you make your own. Hope it made some sense and add some clarity to what's going on locally. Take care.